Okay. So we've got to use the heat gun, put the heat shrink over the soldered wiring. So the reason for joining the wire up and then soldering the wires is so that if the wire were to come loose, if it was just wounded up, it'll wiggle loose. So solder it, tint the wire with some heat shrink over it. Ta-da! That's it. That's done. All I have to do, put it back together, turn it on. Yep. So I'll bring it back in. Battery went, didn't have the charger plugged in, so the battery went flat on the first video. Let's take a picture. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's better. So that's that part done. Okay, short video. Replace the noisier fans. And fitted those on. Bit of a dog's dinner. One, getting the bloody screws out of the top and then the side and back, just to get the metal plate off. And then oh gosh, and then it's taking some of this hot glue a little bit out of the way and then unclipping the terminals. The wires have got to be cut, and they've got to be joined up with that connector, because the connectors on the ones that come with that are 3-pin. So I'm not using the other wire on here, which is down here. The wires are tinted. They're tinted up here, soldered, and then there's some heat shrink put over it. Next, all I have to do is connect them up. I'll put a little cable tie around it. And I put a little cable tie on it. Power it up now, I think. Test it without the lid on, then test it with the lid on. Lid off and the lid on. Yeah. Under, over and done. Or was it over, under, done? I can't remember which. Oh, yeah, see the fans moving. They don't sound loud as like the other ones do. I feel cool air blowing. Okay. I've only got 7 more of these amplifiers to do. Okay. Whew. And how many screws do I put back on? Oh, not as many as needed. Not as many as needed. great. Oh, there it is. Tiddly little buggers. I'll just put a couple ones on the back. Yeah, I'll just put a couple of the screws on. I'll put the screws on up at the top and just a couple of them on the back. I don't need to put them down the side. So just save me, I'll just put the other screws. A little bag. That one's broken. Oh, that's another. Oh, right, that's another behringer screw there. Found another behringer, one of these. Okay, so all the rest of the screws in a little bag. That lid's held down, so it's not going to move. You know, unless you got a vicious cat like my cat Bear, savagely ravaging this bloody amplifier. There's no way that lid's going to come off. Test it one more time with the lid on. And listen to how quiet it is. Oh, bloody hell. All right, the fan. Okay, let's have a listen. Well, I know it's blowing cool air. I can't hear those fans, period. Whereas on the other ones that are plugged in down here, turn them on. Let's turn another one on. Another. They're not too loud, but they're audible. They're audible. Whereas I can't remember which one. That one I'll do later. That's another one I'll do later. This one here and this one up here were mounted up there. They're for my HF horns. One of them particularly was really kind of really loud. It kind of started up getting very loud. Take about maybe 1 minute, and the pitch of the speed or such will slow down, and then it became a little bit less noisy. It kind of made a high pitch frequency, because you measure it in frequency with an RTA. I can tell without using an RTA here. I can tell that's damn flipping quiet. So once everything's tested and all up and running, and just got this NX to change. I've got to find the other fan for that, change that. The fans in the crown, they're not too loud. Not more on the crown later, because not that one there, but the other ones in my bedroom failed, so needs a component replaced on it, which is located down this side of the amplifier. Needs just a simple component changed on it. Hopefully that will fix it. But these amplifiers are notorious for fault issues, and everybody has reported them. Like, not very good. As well as big and heavy and bulky and so forth. And, those three amplifiers takes up about the same rack space, within a little less than a few millimeters than the CTS 8200s. But there I've got 12 channels. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 channels. But it's okay having 8 in an amplifier, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I don't really particularly like using the DSP, because the EQ on it is a bit of a dog's dinner, a bit of a pig's ear to sort of do everything, because it's so time consuming with everything else that's different EQ systems and such. Same principle, filtering and all that, blah blah blah. But it's such a pig's ear to go into the bloody DSP software all the time. Oh dear. I'd rather have something simple like a Behringer DCX, or maybe a DEQ that works. You know what I mean? Anyway, but that's running silent, so I'll turn that off. I do hear a sound. It's a bit of a middle frequency kind of sound. I do hear a sound. It's a bit of a. It's not high frequency like what the other ones were. A bit of a high frequency sound. This one's a bit of a low frequency, so it's shifted down in the frequency range. It's not high up here. It's shifted down. Probably doesn't. Well, once I've got it all up, I'll check them on the RTA, and if I can find the other video I did a few years ago, I might make a new video, or maybe try and find the old one where I tested them. I only have to put a microphone up close to it and observe it on the frequency response and see what it looks like. But it's low level, and at the distance from here to the My THX home cinema, I don't think I'm going to notice these ones as much, even with the door open. But it is audible. No, it is audible, but it's not as loud. That's good. Okay, on to the next amplifier now. So it's got a bit of a whirry sound, but it's so low frequency. It's kind of more middle frequency. It's middle. So if you got 20 hertz, 20 kilohertz, I think the fans originally had a peak frequency kind of like this. Whereas, you know, the overall noise and, you know, observe it on an RTA. This one with the fans, it seemed very, it's not like that. It's kind of like that. It's very shallow. It's very, that's good. That's good. Doesn't sound like a dentist drill. Okay. All right. Yeah, this one now. I was just going to get these muddled up for a second. Hopefully I'll get the screws out easy on this. A bit of a pig's ear, so if I have a problem with one, I'll just use the drill. So pour a drag out. Oh, hardly. For nearly 24 years, I stopped drinking this. Whether it be Pepsi or Coca-Cola, I stopped drinking it for 24 years. But oh god, it's hard to say. Usually, I drink. What do you call it? Orange juice. Because I read somewhere it helps with tinnitus. I read that pineapple juice helps with depression. But I don't know, with the last week or so drinking Pepsi with a little bit of orange juice, I'm thinking my tinnitus has not been as inner ear noisy, like that sort of sound. It's been very, very mellow within, I guess, over a week. I've noticed it coming up a little, but not as loud. I'm thinking, Is it anything to do with the Pepsi and the sugar and the fizz and the whatever? Is there a connection? I don't know. I don't know. But if there is, I'll take it. If something works and it's going to give a remedy, relief, I'll take it. I'll take it. So I don't know what's worse, having a toothache or having tinnitus. I think having tinnitus is a lot worse than a toothache. A toothache can be dealt with. Extract teeth problem, you know. Otherwise, you could put a what's it stuff on your tooth and give it a little relief, you know, that little what's it, and you put it on there. Or if you happen to run out of that, you'll be drinking lots of you'll be drinking a lot of that. Maybe raw, or, you know, because it's got a little bit of penicillin, I think, in it or something. And that sort of helps. But, you know, you'd be peeing all night, and so it's better to have the tooth, you know, because it's like a circuit component. It's just misfortune, really, I guess. But tinnitus is a bit of a pig. There's no known antidote cure for it. So there's only things that could give remedy, relief. And you just got to understand, most people don't want to understand what tinnitus is. They don't want to care about understanding it. First place is they probably got it through an airbag exploding in a car at 140 dB or something, 140, 150. I think they can so sudden, so quick, but it's very loud sound pressure. Or exposed to any industrial sounds, or maybe PA concert speakers, you know, something like that. Loud explosion. Because the threshold will be here. And once you go over that, that's when you get your tinnitus. It never clears. It comes and goes as it pleases. And that's what most people can't understand. 130 dB with sensor round, not clever. So home theaters want to do levels of, my home theater can do 150, 160 dB on this demo for the youth man coming around. Yeah, the youth man sticks his earplugs in because he's a little bit savvy wise, you know. He's not going to just be, oh, bloody, I'll listen to it. Because you use that as a filter, the earplugs. It acts as like a filter. And then you just feel it, you know. But, well, some guy would want to do 160 whatever dB. Yeah. All right. I felt better with sensor round and THX, commercial THX. Yeah, okay. Good luck with your 160 dB in your home theatre, because you obviously got tinnitus. No one's immune. No one is immune. You go over the threshold for human hearing is about 130 dB. Once you exceed that, you're going to have ringing in your ears, or you're going to have a with occasional. It depends. You'll get some of that occasionally. If you got mild, if you had the exposure mild, you may only have mild tinnitus for the rest of your life. If you something really loud, it'd be like Baby Driver and sticking the earbuds in, because Baby Driver got exposed to a lot more, and that's why he wears the music to filter. In other ways, if you use earplugs, earphones, and use pink noise and center it, you narrow the pink noise so you're not playing lows and high. You narrow the frequency range roughly down where you think the tinnitus is. Because some days your memory remembers what it sounds like, the tone or what frequency sort of thing. And then they're like, okay, I'll play some, and it's like, I think it's around that frequency range. It's not any lower because the pitch is totally wrong. It's somewhere between maybe 4 and maybe 8 kilohertz, maybe 4 or 9 kilohertz. It's somewhere around that range, and it's just pinpointing that range. And then you play. I suppose you can. Theoretically, if you invert the tone on the headphone, if you inverted the frequency, inverted the sound, theoretically, it should create a sort of like cancellation, like when you play pink noise on 2 speakers. You got a microphone on 2 speakers, and that the signal is summing up, and then if you reverse the polarity, the signal drops down. If you adjust the phase on the crossover or DSP, it only moves a little bit, tiny little bit with the phase. If you adjust the polarity, it creates a sort of anti-negative signal. But if you do have the phase set weird on the whatever, you would normally see it move and shift and going up and down. When you're adjusting the phase, it kind of wobbles up and down sort of thing. When you're adjusting variable phase, it moves around, but so I'll just keep drinking Pepsi and maybe orange juice. All right, let's get this one done. I have a problem with this one. I think I'm going to have a problem with that one there. Okay. Another screw. That's a bit of a pig to undo. Hopefully the drills do that. Give it one more try. No, I have to get the drill on that. I'm going to take this off. friction. Wow, it's still hot. Oh, that's friction for you. Simple. Oh, ow. Damn, that is. Oh, God, feels like a bloody meteorite. You got a meteorite going through space at minus 455 Fahrenheit, very cold temperature. Total like liquid helium. It'll take your fingers off, right, but give you new meaning to frostbite. And then suddenly it gets pulled into the earth. And then just starts picking up incredible speed, going from cold air, from extreme cold, and then pushing, and then going slightly into warmer air, and then going at a very high speed, and then getting bloody hot. And then whoosh, slam into the ground or the ocean. You just don't know when. There's a lot of it going around out there in the universe. We think you got defenses and all that. Yeah. Anyway, got that screw out, no problem. Second time I've done that with the electric drill, no problem. Okay. I'll take these out. Oh yeah, that moves. Yeah, it's just a couple of screws you get. They're just a little bit awkward. All I need to know is what component I need to get for the crown amplifier so I can fix it, repair the amplifier. All I need to know is what component. So I've got to get that thing on the bloody bench again, open it up, and see what part number is written on the component. Now I can look that component up, readily available. Now I can order that part and then do a repair. Hopefully it works. That's if I get around to it. So that's a project for later on. But preferably I'd rather take the crown amplifiers out, sell them, let someone else have the problem, because those bloody amplifiers are bulky, heavy. I think I'm going to have to drill that one. I've got a screw there that needs to be drilled. I've got another one there that needs to be drilled. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got other drill bits. Where did I put them there? It's a little bit too small, that. Maybe that size. It's a little bit too small. Where's the present one? Wow. I'll use that one again. Ta-da! Those are a bit of a pig. The head's got gashed, so there was no way I was going to get that to turn with a crosshead. Totally taking those off at the back, down the side. Should be able to pop the lid. Okay. So now I'm ready. Right. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the back. The 2 on the front. I wonder if I could use that for. I wonder if that hit would shrink. Okay. It's very hot, this work. Okay. once I've got these finished, put them back in the rack straight away, and then undo one of the other EPQ304 and do one of the other ones, and then do the replacement fan on that. And I've got to wait till later in the day until the other fans arrive. So it takes about a day to get the fans, which is not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad, that. You know, how things you can get things turned around quickly, and you know. So don't they say money makes the world go round? Well, that's a load of bullshit, because the world's been turning around for billions of years. Okay. What shall I see that from there? Okay, so even though I've got one fan, because I need 14 fans. Wow. Why can't they use the single one? Oh dear. Okay. Do the same thing again, if I can remember. Okay, then. Cut the yellow rough. So I'm getting a little bit quicker now. A little bit quicker because, I know what to, expect with the The only thing noisy in the kitchen, probably the refrigerator and the central heating. Not much I could do about that. I don't hear the fridge. I hear the fridge in the THX cinema. Just the central heating when it turns on because of the way it's mounted to the wall, which is interesting because it's coupled. It is interesting. Heat shrink. Soldering iron ready. Oh, heat shrink. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oopsie. Heat gun. Those done? Great. So, with the right tools, or the right job, aye. Have an electric drill, just in case you need to drill the screws out if you can't get the if the if the if the if the crosshead won't turn the screw and the head's gashing and okay, got to use an electric drill bit, use a metal bit. Need a soldering iron, some heat shrink, heat gun. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's fit this back in. And some cable tie. Back on. Back on. Get that back on. Get that back on. with the live video doing. Live video. So second one done. I won't do the other one now because that's only one. I've only got one fan. I think one fan. I can't remember. How many have I done? How many fans have I got left? I might be able to do one more. Just trying to remember. Yeah, 1, 2. How many have I got? Empty, empty, empty. Take all these spare parts out or whatever. Fan there. Oh, I just had a full. Hey, look at the shape of these things. Look at the shape of that. I mean, that's pretty cool shape. I was just thinking, not that I would, because I need a lot of these. that I don't need all fans for, but spray paint it. You spray paint it, and you stick it on the wall. You've got artwork. Oh dear. Bloody hell. Look at it there. Oh. They're all clipping. Oh yeah, right. Like blooming egg carton boxes. Maybe use them on for acoustical treatment, reflectivity diffusers. I've got a few more, so I don't know how many I've got. There, don't go over there, the soldering iron's turned on. Maybe send it back to the manufacturer. Oh yeah, I think they ought to appreciate that because recycling. Send them back to the man, and they could reuse those. You know what I mean? Yeah, send everything back. So I know. I figure you might be able to use these. Recycled because they're not damaged. But you know what? They probably wouldn't. They'd just melt it down and whatever, and then just It's empty. Yeah, diagram. Yeah, that's what I thought. Some sort of they're like silicon, like little rubber feet, and they clip into a board, and then once you've done that, and then use the scissors. Yeah, right. Yeah, gotcha. So like a kind of insulator, so they won't resonate when because if you use plastic pillars or metal pillars, they'll probably resonate. Whereas the rubber ones, there'll be less resonation. There, down. Okay. So that in later. So put that in. I could do one more amplifier in the rack, and that's another one spare fan for in the that's it. That's done. Cable tie. Check, check, check. Bang! Now I can feel the cool air. Yeah, they're quiet. So the other fans are in the other amp. Got two more there I can use to do the other one. I've got some more fans coming, another 7 fans later in the day to finish the other amplifiers and move that one down there. Yeah, it's running quiet. That's good. Put the lid on. Oh, I have a spare one, didn't I? Not sure if it's not sure if that head's good. Yeah, it looks okay. Oh, it doesn't want to screw down. Maybe the thread on it's knackered. Oh no, because I used the drill, didn't I? Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. There, can you get down? There.
Sure, cardiac irritability, which this case has. You know, it'd be much better to block the neuromuscular junction with succinylcholine. That's a nice one. Yeah, who's going to do it? Well, who's going to feed you carbon monoxide? Problem. About a dozen of these coma cases here in the last year. They're always different. Different case, different anesthesis.
There.
Carbon monoxide, right?
There. Come on. Come on, Bear.
What do you think? There's a conspiracy at the Boston Memorial Hospital involving all the anesthesists? I've had a rather hysterical call from Dr. George in anesthesiology. Dr. George is a very powerful person. Not only because of his position, there are other reasons.
I gather.
Now, what does that mean?
Just because somebody has got a rich wife, he shouldn't be able to throw his weight around.
Oh. You're looking for truth and justice, huh?
I'm looking for fairness.
Well, in fairness, you challenge the professional competence of the chief of service at this hospital. He didn't take it well. No reason why he should. Now he's out for blood.
I've noticed.
Sue, believe me, I'm on your side. For all kinds of reasons. Including the fact that I don't want to let another chief of service get one of my house officers fired.
Dr. Harris, I just wanted to look at his charts.
Sue, right now I can protect you. Because you're good. And frankly, because you're a woman.
I don't want any concessions.
At the moment, you better take any you can get.
That's not.
You know what happened?
So I'll put these back in the rack. Okay. Fires back up. What I have to do now is connect the leads back up, power them on. So what I've got to do is connect the TRS and the XLR, TRS, the speaker on connectors, power out and power on. The so left. So. Plugging back in the channels. Okay. So install is unpredictable. Turn levels down. Oh, the other lead's not connected. Okay. It's only a mono movie, so.
Not really.
That's only the HF sound, that's why I hear not much bass because that bass amplifier is not turned on. The LF amplifier is not turned on yet. It's movie Coma 978 mono. What's that? That's up and running. It sounds quiet. Good. Good. I like it. That part's done. I can relax, just chill for cool off for about half hour. Have a break for half hour. It's quiet. I don't hear that. I don't hear that noise now. I don't hear that frequency. Yeah. The only thing I hear is the fridge. So if I go and, I've got to take out the other amplifier down there. I'll take one of those out. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know which one. You take the one out from the top. Take the one out from the top and change the fans on that. I'll do that in half hour. Oh, cool off for half an hour. And the other fans will arrive probably around afternoon tomorrow. Today, around the afternoon. So I'll do another live video. Unless I want to keep this one live up until then. Of course, I'm going to get a little sleep between. So, it'd be not much to see. Move along now. Yeah. That's what it takes to sort of change these fans. I think I've got a DC transformer. I can power that up so you can hear what it sounds like, or what I can hear what it sounds like with what is it? What's the voltage? 12 volt. And 12 volt is 0.6005. Oh, of course, I can hear the THX cinema. I can only hear the HF horn on the center channel because I'm playing the movie Coma, 1978. I've been playing that in THX sound system now for third day. It's going on for third day. I haven't played the movie for a few years. Third great day in THX sound system. Of course, THX sound system didn't come around until 1983, so it doesn't have to be just for Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, or Indiana Jones. Bloody hell, I've heard a lot of other movies that sound flipping phenomenal in THX sound system. Star Trek, for example, Cape Fear, Time Cop. That's with the original THX sound system up there. That's with the original. Star Trek 6. All the Star Trek movies in 70mm mag and 35mm. Yeah. Okay, let's turn it up on the booth monitor. That's just the HF horn. The HF.
What the hell's happening?
Emergency generator will kick in a minute.
Now go to processor.
Kelly?
You get bass.
Kelly?
Go to amplifier. Amplifier return. And of course, it's only monitoring the HF amplifiers at the moment. It's got the LF amplifier turned off. But it's got a nice sound. Or nice JBL THX sound. Oh yeah, these connectors there. Might as well keep those. Can't use that. Okay. Spare parts. Probably never use them. I don't know. DC transformer. Oh, magic, magic. I've got a power DC supply. So set to 5 volt. Set it to 12 volt. Not that you have to set it to 12. You could run those fans a little bit less. And I'm not sure if you could just run it a fraction over, but you know, it's probably not very wise. Yeah. So I'm going to connect that then, huh? I got some pigs here. Let's take it out. Center. Switch it on. Bang. Whoops, wire came off. Oh, look at that. There's a video of this camera. So this gets better sound. Leaf blower. Of course, I've got to cut the wires on that side. I'll cut the wire down to about there. Oh, yeah, I was having a break, wasn't I? I'll do this slow. Oh, bring it here. That's it. When you go lay on the seat, what do you think? You want to jump up there, but it's a bit untidy at the moment. Okay, let's power this one up. Okay, this one's powering up. It's a bit quieter. I'll do this test again because I'm just feeling the cool air. Yeah, feel the cool air on my face. Try and ASR measure it. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm feeling a little bit more velocity of cool air. There is a percentage of more cooler air, but the bearing on these are a little noisy. Try and focus. Yeah, the percentage of speed of air at the flow that I can feel, it seems to be, well, I suppose next I need, oh gosh, what do you call it? One of those weather station things like a instrument to measure wind speed. I don't think, I don't think it's going to pick up these little fans. But take my word for it. All right, the velocity of air flow I feel seems to be diminished by 1, 2, 3, maybe 4.55%. I wonder if I could take it up to 13 volt. So I'm going to take it up to 13 volt. Magic, can you stay over there or get down? Right, taking it up to 13 volt. Okay, back it down to 12. Not much difference. Okay. There's not much difference between going from 12 up to 13.5 volt. There's not much difference. Velocity speed's going a bit faster, but it blows a cool air, but and of course the fan blades are different shape. Yeah, I just noticed that. So the fan blades are different shapes, so that would change the flow velocity of the air. Yeah, I just noticed here. Of course, the fan blades are a different shape. Wonder if I could take the fan blades off and swap them around. Yeah. Hopefully you could take these off, can you? I think they're easy to take off. Because all it is, it would be the inner part of it would be the coil, the copper coil magnetic field. So there's probably wouldn't even fit if I put it on there, because this size here is wider and this one here on there is narrower, so it probably wouldn't even work. So but the actual fan blade itself would it's like doing that and then do it that. With the fingers, and I can hear the difference. So it's like the shape of the blades, the fan blades, kind of like fingers or such. Or if I was webbed hand, like a mutation, and and I've got webs between his skin, it'll make a good fan. Yeah. So yeah. The fan blades, yeah. Shape of the angle, the fan blades. How many fan blades? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blades there. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blades on that one. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. Blades, get it? Blades. Some motherfucker or motherfuckers are trying to ice skate uphill. Yeah. But it works, so. It's the first time I noticed or took notice of the blades, the shape of the blade and how many blades. It's the first time I took note of that. Anyway. So the blades, and the shape of the blades. Whoopsie. Blades. 6, 7 blade, 1, 2, 5 blade there, and 7 blades here. Some motherfucker is always trying to ice skate uphill. Get it? Blades. Some motherfucker always trying to ice skate uphill. Okay. But those other ones are very noisy. Essentially, they are noisy. Okay. I'll get the next amplifier out now. And do that. That's a lot of joy. Okay. Do the next step. Match. Come on. Match it. Where are you going? We'll lay down there. We'll lay down there. Plug, unplug, unplug connections. Okay. See how loud this one is. Yeah, I can hear the fans whirring on that. I can hear the fans on that. So change the fans. Put these two fans in. Those two. Oh, that one's prep ready. So I'll get another one ready. So cut the wires. I'm going to join the cut these ends off because I don't need them because they're the wrong pin. It's 3 pin. I use the original pins and then wind the wires on. Make sure I've got some heat shrink on the wire ready, and then tint the wire with a bit of solder. Put the heat shrink over, put the heat gun on it, put everything together, and it's quiet. And that's that. interesting. You know, all these film mixers, and when they do stereo and all that, and atmosing, and I just heard an aeroplane outside, very unusual at this time, but that's probably a very unusual flight. Maybe a conspiracy for Area 51 alien encounter. But it's interesting because I hear it in the kitchen and it sounds like mono. I know the aircraft is going from taking off over that way and it's moving out this way. That way's west and that way's east. That way is south and that way's north. So I can tell by the sound of the aircraft, the airplane, it's a prop. It's a prop airplane. It's a propeller prop. All I can hear is a Doppler sound shift. I can hear a shifting Doppler shift sound. But I don't hear a spatial, overhead, none of this crap. Because sometimes you wouldn't, depending on the type of airplane or type of vehicle or whatever, sometimes I've got a window over that side, I've got, windows over that way. Sometimes if I could hear a vehicle going up the road, depending if I've got the other window open, I can hear stereo because I can hear some of the sound leaking coming in from the bedroom area and then coming in through zigzagging and coming this way at the speed of sound, at the velocity of speed of sound, and window kitchen slightly open, and I get this, but it's not very detailed, but it still is. I can still hear it. So, but when I hear it in these atmosing movies, it sounds like bullshit. Especially with Baby Driver and the helicopter are flying overhead in a sequence in the movie. It sounds so synthetic. It suddenly had a little bit of helicopter in, because Baby Driver doesn't really utilize height 1, 2, and 3 very well. He mostly uses height number 2, and occasionally you get a little bit of height number 1 or height number 3. Where helicopters, you hear a lot of and then abruptly fading it down in the mixer or moving that render or moving something around and just whoosh, moving that sound up there. Oh, it sounds so synthetic. It's the art of sound mixing or something there. It seems thrown out the window. I've heard other mixes that sound better, but yeah. Because when you see Baby driving, you got that helicopter. Mostly in real world, if you hear a helicopter outside and you're outdoors, you don't really hear much of that helicopter kind of like stereo. You have to be somewhere out, say like several environments. We do match. You have to have several environments, maybe a field or a desert where it's sand, mostly sand dunes and such. I would imagine the sound of the helicopter would be very dryish sound. It wouldn't have too much noise because there's not a whole lot there for it to be very loud, because sound waves are going to go down into the sand with the impact with the sand and going to be kind of absorbed. If it were a dry desert, then it's going to have a different sound texture and reflectivity would be kind of different. You have to measure it, record it, frequency, test it as well, SBL level, what that is. And then another one is maybe green grass fields. See how it sounds with that. And then another one with canyons, so like desert but with rock canyons. Of course, with that, and the helicopter there, the sound waves are going to go that way, and they're going to reflect on the randomly on different area surfaces of the canyons and give you that kind of like, where the heck is it coming from? Because you're hearing reflectivities and it's confusing. And the other one would be, say, out in the ocean, where sound waves up there are going to come down. They're not going to reflect on the water. They'll just go through it. You might, I'm not sure if you could hear it underneath the water. I'm not sure. It's very difficult. You have to be a very quiet, like a lake or something where the water's very still. If it's ocean waves and they're moving too much, it's too much confusion there to notice, because you get audio frequency masking. But essentially, I think you would probably hear the helicopter like, in a way, like mono. If it's kind of shifting or moving, you get that Doppler sound shift. And depending on some of the motor mechanisms, if it's some of the motor mechanisms on the helicopter, it has a sort of directionality sound going at you. You might notice that sound wave kind of, and that, yeah, it's moving that way or that way. I suppose another way to test is with, you can test it with other things like a drone. I've heard drones and hear them because of the sound it's making. I can hear the shifting, I can hear it moving. I could use the same thing with these living fans, just, well, not these fans because they're a bit quieter, but use the other ones and then just kind of move it around, sort of thing like that, and overhead and below me, below, so around and down near the floor, move it around, because as it gets near to a surface, the sound waves change. Yeah, anyway, just a little thing there I thought I'd point out, things I've noticed. And like other aircraft, and they're, like if they're at very high altitude, you wouldn't hear them particularly. It'd have to be a very quiet night. It'd have to be very still outside. Quiet, that is. Maybe type, depending on the type of aircraft, the altitude. Because when you see an aircraft over here, and it's coming near, maybe, I know. I'll use this aircraft as an example. So if you've got an aircraft and it's over there, even though this was stealth, if it was over there and it's, you don't hear it until it's about, you don't quite hear it there, depending on the altitude. But when it's just about there, you just about then hear the engine thrust from the, that engine thrust sort of sound. So when you see it on all these movies, sometimes it's mostly bullshit, especially if it's Atmos. It's even more bullshit, because you wouldn't really hear it until a certain position, depending on the engine noise and so forth. This is a good little model, very detailed. You see the windows. Very detailed. Of course, there were several ones made, one for the CIA, NASA, US Air Force, maybe the Alien Encounter Area 51. Maybe the whole thing's made alien technology. You know what I mean? The skunk, the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Such a sinister looking aircraft. So, yeah, it's usually like an aircraft that's commercial aircraft that's probably maybe 3 miles up. And I just hear the engines once it's passed over slightly, and then I just notice the engine. And it's very distant sounding. It's not roaring 150 dB. It's 3 miles up. And of course, it makes that noise. It makes that sound frequency. The higher it goes up, I guess, the air gets colder, gets thinner. I guess essentially frequency mask, less sound, because there's no, the air density is getting, and the higher, and then, I guess out of space, of course you don't hear anything because there's nothing there for it to happen. So if a tree fell over in a forest, you just not happen to be there, it will make a sound because it's on here. It's on, it will make a sound, unless the only species that hear it are maybe the animals and wildlife. They're the only ones that hear it. Yeah. So far, I'm getting the screws out of this one easily. So far. Okay. Well, I've got the screws out from the side. That's good. Still only going to put a few of them back on. I'm only going to put the back screws on and the top ones. The top, I'm only going to put those back on. Don't need all these bloody screws, really. Is it necessary? So far, I'm getting them off easy. Yeah. Yeah, you just get odd ones where you just can't get the screw bloody undone. Oh wow, that came undone easy. Wow. Okay. Let's get this one done. No, you don't need a whole lot of Atmos to get a lot of bass. there are those that like to believe that you can get a lot more bass, and but not really. You got to think that most of those overheads are not going to be playing most of the time. So, gosh, you're going to you're going to diminish a bit of bass, and you should get a lot of, try and use the overheads as full range, so that the speaker, depending on the design of the speaker used, can output. But you still get the same thing, room mode, room nulls and such. You still get that sort of, maybe most don't use an extra subs that are used for the overheads. But there's really not that many, I don't think, that utilize the overhead exceptionally well. And how many people measure the frequency response of the overhead? Do they have the output connected to an RTA analyzer so they can see the direct frequency response, not measuring it with a microphone in the room, which you can do, but you need to measure the actual frequency response as it is going into an RTA, the direct, and the frequency response on the loudspeaker, so you can see two. So you've got two things that you can see, and then you're going to be like very disappointed with this movie, it's all this hype and all that, and it's got a pitiful frequency response for the overhead. It's pitiful. And this other one is probably underrated, and it's utilizing it a lot better. And but the thing is, you don't know how much bass you're going to get in the overhead. It's unpredictable, as well as how often are those channels active. And most really hyped up movies, they're hardly used. There's not much going on. They turn on a little now and then, or they might only use height number 2 and no height 1 or height 3, or they may only use height 1 and height number 3, but no height number 2, depending on what way the rendering is steering the. Oh dear! What a load of nonsense. So, you don't get that. You gotta have the system set up so and it's not just a case of having those overhead surrounds and the spec, and it's got to have this angle, the speaker's got to be tilted. Of course, when you got a speaker and you tilt it that way. Of course, you only have to play pink noise and then angle it, or get someone to angle the speaker while it's playing pink noise, and then you say, hold it there while looking at the RTA analyzer. You can see the frequency response going up a bit, so that's good. That position. If you move it to a more vertical position, you get the off-axis frequency response, and you get frequency response going up at the ceiling. So that's if you had a speaker really close to the ceiling like that, and then you just angle it and tilt it down and down, and then you got different characteristics, dispersion, and all that bullshit. I mean, I think a cluster overhead is probably better than what they're doing, or they say this has to be this way. Because most of the time, you might only be hearing mono sound in those overhead. So, you got the overheads up there, and you get a mono sound. And it's like, what's going on? You can't really notice it, because you've got everything else playing at the screen speakers, the surrounds, and behind, and typical. And could anyone honestly sometimes say, yeah, I can hear the overhead, or I'm not really too sure? I think the answer would be, I am not really too sure. And that's probably seeing it at cinema, and depending on what's, moving around on the surrounds and the overhead, you might say, I'm not really too sure if I'm hearing the side surround or the overhead, because they're almost the same height elevation. There's only between where the side speakers are on the seat, on the wall, and you got the overhead. So if it was, so that's the overhead there, and so that angle, and that's the side surround. It's only about that sort of distance. It's not really a lot. I should really bring these side surrounds down a little bit, so you get a little bit more, and switch and mute the side and listen to the overhead up here, and then mute the overhead, and then unmute the side and listen back, and so on and so on, testing with pink noise. And then you got a movie content playing, and so of course that's randomly changing frequency. It's not always continuous, it's randomly changing. You can't equalize that. You can monitor the film and then see, monitor all the channels and frequency response, and then think you got a customized secondary equalizer, multi-channel equalizer, secondary, where you can customize the levels, because this film mix is a bit toppy, a little bit too bright, but I haven't got too much bass going on. So you just trade, and just until you get a little bit more bass out of it or whatever from the actual speakers itself. And then of course, if you use the sub bass speakers for the overhead, usually those speakers go somewhere located on the side walls. They're located on the side walls. I think some installation have actually done them in the ceiling. I'm not sure what differences you're going to notice, because you got to play a sub bass speaker, or a sub bass speaker is really not really a sub bass speaker. It's just a crossover, whether it's a passive or whether it's a DSP or an active. It's just a crossover. It's not like, say, this sub is specifically a sub bass speaker. It's just a crossover filter. You don't, theoretically, you really don't need the crossover turned on the active sub or the DSP, or whatever, because that frequency response is already filtered. If you're amplifying the signal through an amplifier, doing it cinema way, you may only notice a little bit of hiss uh, or very subtle, very quiet coming from the sub, because it's being powered by an amplifier. That's typical in some installations. You can notice signal noise ratio. But if you put a filter on it, like a passive filter, you don't notice that signal noise because it's now filtered. But depending on, you've got to observe on the RTA analyzer the direct output from the amplifier into a booth cinema THX monitor. And then you can see, oh yeah, there's a little bit of signal noise there. All right, put a filter on it, about round this range here, or put a bandpass filter and just put it there and widen the Q out, and then cut the frequency down. And then you don't notice that, you just can't hear it. But essentially, the frequency response on that LFE is filtered. It's already filtered. It's already been processed. If you put a crossover filter on it, you might be clamping down on other frequencies that may not necessarily, it's not necessary. But say this box here is a sub bass. Well, that's bullshit, because some of those boxes, sub bass, are now being utilized for screen channel bass cab bins. They're being utilized. I'm not sure how well, because usually they're 15-inch drivers in bass cabs, and the sub ones are 18. No, you use as a crossover to divide the frequency, so you get more bass, more mid-range, or more high frequency if it's a three-way crossover. Typical two-way is usually typical two-way. So you get higher highs, lower lows, less distortion. If you try it with a passive crossover network, so you got a passive crossover network for the bass and a passive crossover for the high frequency. So it's tailored to roughly be around 500, 800 hertz range. Typical, I think they are 12 or maybe 18 dB slope. I think 12. But with DSP or active or DSP, get deeper slopes. Alright, so I've got that off. Oh, I'm going to repeat the movie. Some game credits. Oh. That's on power ramp. That's on processor. So there's bass. because I'm only monitoring the HF. Got bass amplifiers on the LF, HF, LF, and I suppose the subs are SW, I guess, or brilliant. THX sound system, totally brilliant.
It's 6 a.m. on a beautiful New England morning in Boston. These are the top stories.
All right. So I do this one now. Take that hot glue off. Nice. Scissors. One little bit of heat shrink. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm doing this almost 3 hours. You know, looking at that glue stuff, you'd thought it was a sweetie. Oh, Oh, I don't think so. you think it's a toffee sweet? Seriously, you put that in a sweet. Bloody hell, I don't even want to think about it. Ugh. Leaf blowers. Match. Meow. Oh, that's not stripping easy. There it is. Totally missing. Totally. Gotcha. The heat shrink on. Soldering iron on. Okay. Almost ready. Almost finished, Magic. Almost finished. Behringer. They make noisy amplifiers. I mean, they're supposed to make sound loud, noisy, whatever. But the actual thing itself. But also got fan noise. You got signal noise ratio. Blah 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 blah. Stop. video. Ordinarily, I don't do this one hand. I use two hands, but there, it's done. It's ready. They're ready to install now, and put them back in the rack. Let's go now. Wrong position. Okay, let's this last thing. Okay, check. Bang. Feel the airflow. Good. Quiet. Good. Oh, this one's been a bit easier. those would be. Again later today. Right. Simple. Anybody want a leaf blower? There. There, out. There, out. Yeah, I'm going to scratch you. There. No. There. just put this back in the ring. Keep it chilled. Okay. Oh, hardly taking the telescope out. Like two left. 2, right. Oh, power agent. Yeah. Bang. Kaboom. Oh, nice. Creepy kitty cat you are there. That's great. That's great. They like SR-71 stealth reconnaissance amplifiers. Yeah. Like, wow, that's quite a cloaking device. So it's all right. It's a sub left and right, sub left and right, middle and back. But I don't want to turn that on yet. And see what this bearing. Yeah, the light's blinking on that crown. There's a crown amplifier down there. Blue lights blinking. I'll just wait. I'll wait. It'll work. Amber light coming on, blinking. Okay. Right. Amber, turn it off. Turn it back on. Blue light stays on. Green lights come on for the amplifiers. I think change these Crown amplifiers out because I think they're overrated. I think Crown Harman International and all that flipping Floyd Tool sub-bass speaker bullshit placement. I think this is all totally overrated. You know, how come it's always a white paper but never a video? Huh? It's always they got these white papers with animation drawings, but it's never a practical video. You know, not a single practical video. Think about that. I mean, NASA, they got diagrams along with practical videos to show it's doing this, you know? Yeah. What are you doing, Bear? Bear, you're being fed. Come on. Come on. Bear. Bear, you're being fed. Okay. Even though the fan, oh yeah, I had a bass and high frequency now in the THX cinema. Of course, booth monitor.
Mostly it was normal. Went to a section limit. You want to see that? Ordinarily, we don't get these coma cases. It shipped to Jefferson.
What's Jefferson?
Jefferson Institute. It's a chronic care facility in the suburbs. Government thing. They take care of the vegetables. Sometimes they die before they get there. Like this one. More work for us. Now we get some idea. We're looking for anything. Microinfarcts, staph loci, gross hemorrhagic areas, genital defects. Nothing. Just like all the other cases, we come up cold.
Jim, I know it sounds silly, but supposing you wanted to put people into a coma, what would you do?
You mean on purpose? Diethylparaminocannabinol. Oh, no. Leaves a serum trace. Yeah, if you know to look for it. But it also peaks out phos. It's a real giveaway. Besides, who can get Talendol? Well, then you can use Paradine. Ah, it has a taste. We'd all make great murderers. I mean, who knows better about murder than a pathologist? It sure keeps my wife in line. A whole lot of crimes slip through our fingers, I'll tell you.
But in this case, a coma.
First rule of crime. Keep it simple. What's simple? Carbon monoxide. Boring.
Carbon monoxide?
Sure. It's perfect. Anesthetist feeds the patient some carbon monoxide instead of oxygen. It's colorless and makes the blood very red, so the surgeon doesn't notice anything funny. But the brain dies from lack of oxygen. End of operation. Patient doesn't wake up.
No other effects?
Sure, other effects. Cardiac irritability, which this case had. You know, it'd be much better to block the neuromuscular junction with succinylcholine. Now that's a nice murder. Yeah, who's going to do it? Well, who's going to feed your carbon monoxide? That's the problem. Been about a dozen of these coma cases here in the last year. They're always different. Different case, different anesthetist, different operation. Hard to imagine it's murder.
Are you sure?
Susan, what do you think? There's a conspiracy at the Boston Memorial Hospital involving all the anesthetists? I've had a rather hysterical call from Dr. George in anesthesiology.
Wow. Okay. Let's just check that. Good. Good. That's good. Wow. Wow. Maybe I could turn my water distiller into a sub-bass speaker. It looks like a Dalek. Exterminate. Exterminate. Yeah. Oh yeah. What it needs is stick that on it. Exterminate. Exterminate. Oh dear. Wow, few improvements. Tidied the kitchen up with proportion magic. Have you noticed the difference? Yes. I've just got to tidy that up over there a little bit and then be a bit more, tidy this around up here a little bit. Hey, Bear? Hey? Hey?
Have a good weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's different. Oh, that is so different. I don't hear those whining behringer EPQ 304 fans. I don't hear that whining sound in the background, even though the door's open. Wow, that's made a bit of a game change in the signal noise ratio. Oh. What a cat feeder. What a cat feeder. Well, you didn't get your biscuits in time, Magic. All right. Come on, Bear. Come on, you've had a few. Come on, Madge. You have some biscuits. No, Bear, you little greedy bugger. Come on. Let Magic have a portion. It's pointless, I think, this cat feeder. Yeah, Magic's got the biscuit. Yeah, there's none left there, Bear. Because you're always waiting for the feeder, aren't you? Yeah, you're always waiting for it. See, it needs 2 trays on that cat feeder. It needs 2 trays. They make 2 tray versions. So, when the biscuits are dispensed, the cat can go for this biscuits here because that's what they'll go for. And then the other cat will go on this side for the biscuits. But when it's in one tray, it's not going to work. You get 2 cats then fighting. That's not good. I can't sit down for fucking 5 minutes these days. It's taken the other one with the other app. It's taken about 4 hours, over 4.5. I think it's about 4.5 hours it's taken to do those amplifiers. So I'll do the others later in the day. But I don't hear those whining high pitch frequency response on the fan now. That's great. Behringer should have designed that amplifier like that from the start, but
Murphy had his or 6 others. 2 before, 4. They were all alone.
Early, aren't you, Doctor? Early? You're supposed to come on Tuesday, day after tomorrow. That's when the tour is scheduled.
The tour.
Yes, it's every Tuesday at 11.
The only signal noise ratio I hear is my cat's bear scraping at the cat feeder, thinking, "Oh, how do I get more biscuits?" It's like going down to the fairground or the amusements where they got you put a coin in and it drops down and pushes the other coins forward. Hopefully you get one coin can push maybe or quite a few coins down. It's kind of like that. He's trying to scrape at it, trying to figure out how to get more biscuits out. Oh dear. Anyway, that's that. So that's that.